So I was playing AFL 9s last night.
Darcy Moore fed it to Watson. The Watson, mercurial at his best.
And during one piece of play, I unfortunately rolled my ankle. Thankfully, I didn't injure myself, I didn't hurt myself, I could keep playing, and today it hasn't bruised up, it is the tiniest little bit swollen and the tiniest little bit tender. It's not technically my ankle, it's kind of the top of my foot, but as a physio and as someone who wants to feel and function really well at all times, I just wanted to show you one really simple technique that you can do in the initial stages to help get you through that acute, painful, swollen phase as quickly as possible. And that technique is Voodoo Floss. So the main problem that a lot of people face after rolling their ankle is not only is it painful and swollen, but you naturally lose a little bit of function in the short term while it's healing and recovering. So naturally, anything that we can do to expedite the removal of swelling, to decrease your pain, and to get you back on your feet functioning as good as you can as quickly as possible is absolutely important. The idea with Voodoo Floss is that we take a strong elastic band, which in this case is the official Voodoo Floss. You can absolutely use something like a TheraBand if you've got that lying around. You can definitely use the inner tube of a bike tire. We just want something that has some strong, comfortable elastic tension to it. And what we want to do is we want to wrap up the section of your injured ankle that's a bit swollen, a bit bruised, and a bit painful, and then use gentle, respectful, pain-free active motion to pump a lot of that congestion and dysfunction out. Because the reason why this tends to be so effective and the reason why it's helpful for both swelling and pain and function is that something as simple as the swelling in a swollen ankle, and for me, as I said, the top of my foot isn't too swollen, but it does feel a little bit congested underneath. That congestion can cause compression on injured and damaged tissue, which can then generate pain. And naturally, that pain can stop you from using your ankle to the degree that you want to. And interestingly, any techniques that we can give you that help reduce that congestion, reduce that swelling as quickly as possible, clinically, the faster we can get you out of pain and the faster we can return you to normal function and allow you to get back to doing the things that you need to do day to day. So what I would encourage you to do first before we apply your Voodoo Floss technique is please stand up, walk around, try some squats, do whatever you feel comfortable doing that lets you know how your ankle feels to begin with. Take a look at it, take note of how swollen it is, measure it if you want to. Because once we've done the Voodoo Floss technique, the reason why it's called Voodoo Floss is it's technically supposed to feel like magic. And that once you take it off, you may notice a substantial difference in how swollen, congested, how painful it is, but also how well it functions. Hold me to it. That is our expectation with this exercise. So the way to do it is you want to grab your official Voodoo Floss band or your TheraBand, like you would if you were wrapping up an injury. We want to start further out from that. With this, we want to add about sort of half tension on the band. And we want to overlap the band about sort of 50% as you come around. Now, ideally, because this is essentially a little bit of a tourniquet, we only want to have this on for a couple of minutes. We want it to be on at a tension that feels comfortable. Naturally and intuitively, if you put it on and your foot goes numb, your toes start to feel a bit weird, respect it, be mature, don't do it as tight as you could. Ideally, we want to wrap it up as much as we can. We do want to try and sort of capture as much of the skin as possible. Sometimes around the heel it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but for me, my swollen tender spot is sort of here, so I'm covering that as best as I possibly can. And then you want to tuck this in underneath just to keep it there, stop it from undoing. And then the next step is literally taking the next step. We want you to then stand up and then very respectfully try and walk as normally as you feel your pain or discomfort allows. We want to work within whatever your pain-free window feels like. You can walk around for 1 to 2 minutes. If it's okay for you, you can also try some gentle, deep squats. We want to take you through whatever range of motion you have at your disposal, and obviously scaling this up and down based on what you feel is the most comfortable version of this for you. Then again, once you've done about 3 minutes of gentle, respectful, active movements, we then want to take the band off again, unwrap it. And then as I mentioned, the expectation is for this to be effective and appropriate for you, you need to feel immediately better in terms of swelling, pain, discomfort, and more importantly, function straight away. Naturally, depending on how bad your injury is, how long it's been there for, you may not naturally feel perfect straight away, but you should feel some degree better than you did before using the Voodoo Floss technique. So now I want to roll this back up, but I'll save you the time. So now it's important to talk about why this should be effective for you. One of the ideas that's just so important to appreciate with a swollen ankle is that the only way your body can remove that congestion and decrease that swelling is through movement. Your lymphatic system is driven by a passive muscle pump, so it requires you to respectfully use your tissue at a level that feels comfortable in order to best expedite the removal of that congestion. And the really cool thing about short-term elastic compression is that the elasticity can sort of help supercharge that mechanism. So depending on the nature of your injury, how bad it is, how intensely painful it feels, you may need to be a little bit more gentle with your compression. You may need to be a little bit more respectful with what movement looks like for you. And in the case of a lightly sprained ankle for me, this is a fantastic way to get through this experience as quickly as possible. As I mentioned, if the swelling is compressing some injured or damaged tissue, that can contribute to the amount of pain that you feel. And we've seen so many cases clinically where once you get a lot of the swelling out of there, the pain tends to go away with it. It doesn't mean that your injury has healed, of course, but it may mean it doesn't have to be painful, which means that you can then do more with it because we know that use stimulates good healing. If you've broken a bone, if your tendons or muscles or ligaments are damaged, that tissue does actually need some degree of respectful loading to return to its strongest and its best. So with that being said, please give this a go. Do a test, Voodoo Floss, retest afterwards, and let me know in the comments down below what you found happen. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more of this type of content from me, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a member if you want more exclusive content and access to the extended cuts of a lot of the videos that I put out. But as always, thank you again for watching. Hope to see you next time.